kind of a disastrous day for the Red Sox, wouldn't you say?
I think you'd be hard-pressed to find more games on opening day that were more discouraging than that one. Now, I can probably go back and find some if you want. Yeah. Like, I do have that capacity. I think the first game I ever went to, they got walloped on Patriots. It wasn't a home opener, but nonetheless, play explains a lot, incidentally. I've been traumatized by it. But look, it was ugly all the way around. Pavetta's injured. Story's out for the year. They go out there and play like garbage. They get 2 hits despite a 1-0 lead, then they get hammered. The Orioles beat them with a starter that they were willing to trade for that you weren't. I mean, there was one thing after the next, and they just got absolutely freaking skewered all over the place. They weren't entertaining. They weren't good. They looked like a sloppy minor league team like they looked like a year ago, and their youth is really starting to show. And their inexperience and ineptitude is starting to show in a lot of places, and that's a little scary.
Yeah, isn't that kind of an excuse, though? Because I know Cora talked about, like, hey, we're a young team last night. I heard the clip driving home. And so the Orioles are a young team, though. They're just young and good.
Correct.
You're young and suck.
It's a good point, Murray.
So I kind of don't want to hear that excuse.
It's a good point.
Well, and the whole tone after the game is something that I'm focusing on. So Millar's like, we'll get him tomorrow. No one was really saying that in the Red Sox clubhouse. It was kind of just the opposite. I mean,
it was like a Morgan there.
Alex Cora, Pete Abraham, good for him, put it up top of his column. Again, Abraham writes that the Sox advanced 1 runner beyond first base all day, with their final 18 batters going down in order.
Yep.
Okay, so only 1 runner past first base all day, and that's not including the home runs. So they hit a home run, and then one guy got to second or something. Either way, he didn't advance a runner beyond first base all day, or advance 1 runner beyond first base all day. Final 18 went down in order. Quote, "This is where we're at," said manager Alex Cora. This is where we're at?
Yep.
Hitless over the last 18 batters? Hitless over the last, 6 innings?
I mean, again, like I think Cora is as traumatized as anybody over there because he was really leaning on Story.
But that's resignation.
It is.
This is where we're at? You getting the bat shoved down your throat? No hits over the final 18 batters? That's where we're at? John Tomasi writes that it's hard to pick the most depressingly illustrative moment of the 7-1 loss to the Orioles, but there are plenty of candidates. Maybe it was shortstop Trevor Story crying at his locker while discussing the looming shoulder surgery that will end his season. And again, he was...
It was a tough
watch.
No.
He was devastated.
Could barely talk. Said, I don't really understand it, Story said, sighing heavily between sentences. I know that it's a time for me to lean into my faith. He said, well, maybe, again, what was the most depressingly illustrative moment?
I mean, Story's voice was literally quivering as he spoke.
He said, well, then, if it wasn't that, maybe it was Jarren Duran kicking his chair in anger and then lapsing into borderline disturbing self-flagellation mode after dropping a fly ball for an error that keyed Baltimore's go-ahead rally. I'll play the sound here. Here's Jarren Duran post-game on that miss in left field.
I make that play, we got the inning, and then none of those things happened, dude. I just suck, honestly.
How tough was it for you guys as a team out there?
I mean, it's just baseball, it happens, but honestly, it just feels like after that error, they got a couple hits, got a couple runs, and then just kind of, we never got right back into rhythm, so it's on me.
Okay, so on one hand, good for him, it's on him. He should take responsibility for it, but for Pete's sake.
This was the most alarming thing that happened, if you ask me.
I just bleeping suck, man. Bleeping, it's my bleeping fault, Duran said. If I just make that play, we get out of that inning, and then none of those other bleeping things happen, I just bleeping suck. It wasn't in that cut right there, but reading to the bottom of Abraham's column, he also said, Duran said, I might have to buy another journal for how much I'm going to write about myself tonight. Good thing it was a 2 o'clock game, so I've got more time to talk trash about myself for the rest of the day. So that's why Tomasi says it almost bordered on self-flagellation. Is that the word?
Yeah, that's the word.
So maybe that. So was that the depressing? Like that's a. I mean, I'm all for a guy taking responsibility. Good for you. But
sorry.
You go ahead.
This kind of thing makes you worry about him as a human being, and I'm not joking. Like he's had trouble with depression and stuff like that. And look, at the end of the day, I get agitated by the losses as much as anybody. But as a human being, I will tell, dude, it's a baseball game.
The first, again, the 10th of 150,
game,
right?
Right. It's a baseball game. So to play the sport, this one as much as any, if not more so, because of the number of games, you got to just let it roll off a little, at least a little. I don't mind guys taking it to their core, but there is a line where you say, okay, that's a little too far. And I feel like he sort of stepped over that. That's one that makes you say, take a breath. Like, take a breath. So to me, he's acknowledged it publicly. It's not anything. There's a brittleness there.
There's just no hint of resilience. Like, you all think we suck, we'll show you. Like, which every team, like, that's like, motivation 101. You all had us picked for last, we'll show you. Yeah, we suck today, but keep doubting us. Whatever. Like, every team does that. No. After the first home game, the manager says that's just where we're at right now. And the kid that makes the error in right field is, again, glad it was an afternoon day, so he has all afternoon to write in his journal how much he sucks and cost him the game. Trevor Story's crying. Again, what was the most illustrative, depressing moment? Tomasi writes, or maybe it was just the defense, which turned atrocious without Story's stabilizing influence. Rafi Devers booted a grounder. Replacement shortstop David Hamilton let one scoot through his wicket. Second baseman Emmanuel Valdez failed to glove a relay that cost the team another out. Duran's drop came exactly where the sun turned to shadows in the left field corner. The Red Sox basically watched reigning Rookie of the Year Gunnar Henderson steal third, leading to the first boos of the season. They were getting booed yesterday.
That was unbelievable, that steal of third base.
So we were watching it. That was against Winkowski, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
So that was bad.
Yeah, and I saw this reported as Devers was late getting in the bag, which I'm sure he was. Like, again, no shock there. Winkowski completely half-assed it. He just took his foot off the mound, didn't step, kind of flipped it, and it bounced over to third base. How about, like, stepping off the mound and freaking taking a step and gunning it over there?
I mean,
what are you doing?
From beginning to end, it's like Corbin Burns on the mound. The Orioles didn't even give up much for him, right?
No, not that much at all. He's a free agent at the end of the year. Yeah.
Right, and he had some injuries. Arbitration guy, so they didn't even give up much. He's making $10 million, right?
Something like that.
The Cy Young winner. So like he's on the mound, and it's like there's another just another glaring sort of illustration of how your team bailed on you in the offseason. You've had a couple of injuries. The Burns shoves it down your throat. But instead of saying, yeah, that's a great pitcher who had a good one, we'll be back tomorrow. And instead of them carrying themselves like, you don't believe in us, but we believe in ourselves in this room, the manager comes out and says, that's where we're at right now.
This is one of the things I'm worried about now is the leadership or absence thereof. Now, again, they had a little of it earlier in the year.
I thought out west, they had a little bit of a vibe that we'll show you.
Right. You remember early in the year when Cora was asked about it? Well, we've been playing this way all along. This is what teams did to us last year. Now we're going to do it to them. And I'm paraphrasing a little bit. That was effectively what he said. We're more athletic. We're this, we're that. All of a sudden, 2 weeks later or less than 2 weeks later, it's the world's ending.
So the organization gave up on the team in the offseason. And now 2 weeks into the year, it feels like the Red Sox are already sort of raising the white flag on the thing. They feel that way.
Yeah, and this to me is sort of where you got to draw that line.
They're in second place.
Exactly. Like at some point, the people in uniform do have to play. I know everyone would like for them to cancel the season.
God.
But you do have to play.
Play.
And Devers, the last couple of games defensively, he's had his head up his ass. Cora sounded despondent. Duran, again, is a different issue entirely. So, like, I don't want to pick on him. He's got to make the play. If we're going to talk about the play, you got to make the play. Okay, now, again, his issues run deeper than that. I have compassion for him on those.
But from a baseball context.
Right, you got to make the play.
And not just that. You got to be able to shake it off.
Exactly. Again, it is the big league, so somewhere in there's a line. Where you go from a player to a human being. I get that. But Raffaella dropped a ball that was hit right to him over the weekend. He had his head up his ass on that one. So do they want to play or not? If they want to just cancel the season, they give everybody their money back.
It feels like Cora's already done it.
Yeah, they can go
this 7. This is just what we are.
Yeah, go 7-155. Give everybody a W. They get a week off when they come to Boston. If the Red Sox are on your schedule, it's a 3-day break. You do that, and let's just pull the plug on the sucker right now. Because that's what it feels like they want to do. Sorry.
That didn't take long.
Tune into the baseball hour tonight at 6.
I didn't say I want to do it. I didn't say I want to do
Me
it.
neither. So I've never seen a team like Okay, just a little bit. Every team I've ever known says you don't believe in us, but we do.
Boy, it didn't take much to get their confidence shaken.
That's like the easiest thing ever. Instead, they're just saying, nope, that's what we are right now, said the manager.
They would rather wallow in the misery and feel abandoned by their ownership than actually show up and compete. And their pitching, by the way, was still good yesterday.
It was fine if they just catch the ball.
At least the starters.
It's a 1-1 game into the fifth.
Right. You'd never know they were up 1-0 in that game.
Right.
You'd never know it. I thought Bayo was his best yesterday of the season. The little bits that I saw, and I didn't see every pitch, we were in here, but to me, he was hitting spots better yesterday than he has in either of the other two games. If you like that clip, check out more videos from Felger and Mazz here. For more Red Sox analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.